Russia has fired its new Oreshnik hypersonic ballistic missile. The strike was launched in response to Kiev's use of Western-made long-range missiles. The Russian military has launched a state-of-the-art intermediate-range ballistic missile against a Ukrainian target, President Vladimir Putin said in a public address on Thursday. As part of what the president called a combat test, the hypersonic missile, dubbed Oreshnik, Hazel, successfully struck a military-industrial facility in the Ukrainian city of Dnipropetrovsk, known as Dnipro in Ukraine. The strike was a response to Ukrainian attacks on military facilities located on internationally recognized Russian territory, Putin said. Kiev's forces launched the strikes on Tuesday and Thursday, using US-made ATACMS and HIMARS systems, as well as British-made Storm Shadow missiles, Putin said. The president also vowed to publicly announce any future strikes against the Ukrainian targets involving the Oreshnik system for humanitarian reasons, to let civilians leave a potentially dangerous zone. The announcements would not affect the effectiveness of the strikes, he added. A ballistic missile traveling at between 2.5 and 3 kilometers per second or 10 times faster than the speed of sound cannot be countered with any existing air defense systems, Putin said. Earlier, international media reported that Kiev had received approval from Washington and London for the use of Western-made long-range systems for strikes deep into Russia. One of the attacks resulted in several casualties at a Russian command center in the Kursk region, but failed to disrupt its operations, the president said, adding that such developments have drastically changed the nature of the Ukraine conflict, making it a more global one. According to Putin, the response involved a hypersonic ballistic missile strike with a non-nuclear payload. The missile struck one of the biggest industrial complexes, which has been famous even since Soviet times and still produces missiles and other weapons. The president was apparently referring to Yuzhmash, Ukraine's state-owned aerospace manufacturer, which it inherited from the Soviet Union. The combat test came in response to the aggressive actions of the NATO member states against Russia, Putin said in his speech. Moscow has voluntarily made a unilateral commitment not to deploy intermediate-range missiles anywhere, for as long as similar US weapons are not deployed to any region of the world either, the president stated. The very development of such systems was a response to Washington's plans to produce and deploy similar systems to Europe and the Asia-Pacific, Putin said, pointing to Washington's decision to unilaterally withdraw from the 1987 Intermediate-Range Nuclear Forces (INF) Treaty in 2019. Moscow will also continue the combat tests of its newest missile system, Putin warned. Moscow believes it has a right to target the military facilities of those nations that allow its weapons to be used against Russia, the president stated. In case of an escalation, we will deliver a decisive mirror-like response, Putin said. Russia is still ready to resolve all the differences in a peaceful way, the president said, and one should not doubt that there will always be a response. Source RT. So what do you think?